This is Empty the Bench with Tom Albano.
We have seen the disaster of, the past 2 years with negotiations and company. And, I guess he is trying to smooth things over so as to lessen the chance of a potential strike.
Nick Morgasen.
When the commissioner takes charge of something, it's his statement only. It's not the sport. But when it's bad, it's the whole sport.
And Nick Fodera.
When you are dragged into a shouting match with Michael Rappaport, when you let him get to you, you've already lost.
Empty the Bench starts now.
And we are live with episode number 80. I said 80 of Empty the Bench. God, between over 100 episodes of Unspoken and 80 episodes of this, it's felt like forever, hasn't it? Anyways, I'm Tom Albano along with Nick Morgasen and Nick Fodera here. And gentlemen, quite a week of the sports news. Very early on, at least.
Well,
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Normally, the past 3 episodes, we've had to lead with Deshaun Watson, which really would have given the impression that we're turning into a legal podcast, or not even a legal sports show. But that's not the case. So this week we've got something a little bit different.
Yeah, before we get into the topic that we had planned for this episode, I think unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, we do have to take a mention of this story here. Now, as a lot of you may know, especially those who have been keeping up with the news, there was a shooting down in South Carolina. A gunman killed a family. It was a doctor, his wife, 2 grandchildren, and another female. Injured one more victim and then turned a gun on himself. And the reason we talk about this story is because the gunman has been identified as Phillip Adams, a former NFL cornerback who played for a number of teams in the 2000s.
Now, whichever way you slice it, this is just a complete tragedy. But my condolences to the family, both families involved. But the more that we're seeing about this story, the more the details have come out. In the past couple of days, we've seen that Phillip Adams was struggling with his mental health mightily when he left the NFL in 2015, and unfortunately, it came to a head, and this was the tragic result of that.
Can we talk about the NFL though with the mental health struggles that we see?
Well, I was going to say, as much as this is going to bring gun control topics and debate back to that limelight, I think in that same way, perhaps, just as much as the same strength. Well, I don't know, because maybe non-sports people aren't going to talk about this, but retired players and the NFL's care and CTE, all that is now also going to come back into the spotlight.
Yeah, but this has been a problem for a long time with NFL mental health.
Oh, no, but that's the point.
Absolutely.
Right, but what I'm saying is if you look at the NBA, you look at Major League Baseball, you look at the NHL, they have much better plans for after playing careers. In the NFL, it just seems like Roger Goodell and the NFL just says, "See ya, we'll
pay service, pat you on the back, and then shove you out the door."
Why do you think they have lawsuits? Why do you think they have lawsuits over the pay that they're supposed to be receiving?
Well, I was going to say, when you consider that the pay, because it's class actions, you're talking about all the class action lawsuits. So what is that at the end? Each player receives $5 or something for all the injuries that they've done.
And this is something that's been an issue for the better part of a decade. I mean, I remember
more than a decade.
Yeah, but it's come to national attention for the better part of a decade, and you still haven't gotten any better at treating it than you have it at trying to head off tragedies like this.
I mean, we're talking about medical, like Nick was saying, CTE, and you, Tom, were saying CTE and mental issues and guns and domestic violence, and it seems like the NFL can't get its, and I hate to say, the shit together when it comes to controlling the environment that goes on behind closed doors.
You're under the mistaken impression that they intend to get their shit together, because it really doesn't seem like they have any kind of vested interest in doing so.
Roger Goodell only cares about one thing, and you say this all the time.
The green.
It's the green. And whether it's the $1 billion that he's going to make off the TV deals, or the other money he's going to make off the beer sponsor, or he doesn't care if players have mental health or brain issues, or whether there's a black and white issue. All he cares about is what money's going in my pocket, and that's it.
And I want to take a minute to address something from our Twitter. I was going to say, kind of like playing out of the thing that you had when the Rosario thing happened. So we actually, when I broke this news about the identification of the gunman being a former NFL player on Twitter, there was a user who actually posted a comment basically talking about, he posted some graphic about interracial violent crime incidents. And I just want to say one thing. If this was a normal news story, if this was just a news story, if the gunman had not been a former athlete, maybe we say a quick thoughts and prayers at the beginning, or maybe we don't mention it at all. But in my opinion, because the gunman was identified as a former NFL player, and it brings up the issues that we talked about, I felt, as someone who maybe not identifies himself as a journalist, but as a writer, as somebody who covers sports, namely mixed martial arts, but even here, baseball and football, I felt it was our responsibility to at least break that news and talk about this topic.
Actually, what I would say, you're a real journalist compared to half the garbage that's out there in journalism, because they're taking this story and trying to turn it into whether it's a race issue or an athlete issue. And I
really don't think it's a race issue in as much as
no, that wasn't my point. Yeah. My point is that the non-journalists try to pick a headline out of a story.
This is everybody. You mean everyone tries to be an expert territory?
Exactly.
Yeah, we're all armchair experting when the details. First of all, we don't know anything about motive, and we're not. I don't suspect we will.
Well, when someone takes the gun to themselves, you kind of have to.
Yes, you're going to assume that it's a mental health issue and not somebody trying to start a race war. As I think,
and the reason I say, and the only reason in this case we are suspecting it's an I'll say the only reason that there is suspicion of a mental health issue, at least from our angle of things, is how we just said the NFL tends to not care for its athletes, and you talk about all the years of football and the CTE that develops in the brain. Like, this is stuff that goes back to, this is stuff when these findings go back to the mid to late 2000s. We've been having this debate.
And the one thing I want to say is, people say that we only talk about certain stories based on whether they're an athlete or not. It's actually worse, because the athlete has attention and name recognition. So that's why it does get talked about more than the no-name person if something happens to them.
Yeah, it would be a story on the local 6 o'clock news if he wasn't an ex-NFL player. I mean,
that's my point. Yeah.
I just feel like, look, it is going to be Roger Goodell. The league is going to keep throwing out its our condolences and just completely move on. They're not going to take any kind of meaningful action because they never have.
Exactly, Nick. All right, so moving on from that, let's get into all the topics that we had planned.
Oh, goody. Yay.
The MLB has made its decision. It is going to move the game from Atlanta, but rather than moving it to Milwaukee like we had advocated for on this show last week because of the Hank Aaron angle of all of it, no, they are instead going to move this year's All-Star Game to Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, the home of the Colorado Rockies.
Now, I've had a lot of time to mull this over, folks, and I really, the more I think about it, the more I realize this situation is analogous to Rob Manfred getting 2 of the 3 steps necessary to correct this problem right. He identified what the problem was, took steps to remove it, and then turned around and fell in a ditch. Because this is like, look, let me explain. Because this is like the octopus that I bought keeps strangling me in my sleep for some reason. The correct solution to this, I'm going to move out of the house. But the problem is, I'm going to move to the surface of the sun. Exactly. Right path. You're just not.
I will
landing.
I will use a baseball analogy for this. Okay, Rob Manfred is up at the plate. He sees it. Fastball coming down the middle. It's, I would say he's on target. He's locked in. He takes a big swing. He goes for the homer. And he swings over the baseball and manages to do that cartoony thing where he spins so much that he tugs himself into the ground.
Oh, the helicopter. The helicopter. Yeah. But can I say one thing? Can we go back to the quote that I said in the intro, which is basically where if it's something that's only good for him, then it's a quote from him. And if it's bad for the league, then it's the league's response. That's what this is here. So the league had to deal with a league-wide issue, which is the Atlanta law that was put into place. Oh, wait. I'm the one who's going to take control of this. I'm big, bad Rob Manfred. I'm going to take my powers, and I'm going to assume the duty of making the responsible decision.
And let me absolutely clarify. I am completely in favor of moving the All-Star Game
That's
out of
fine.
because it's a PR decision. We said that last week.
Right.
But moving it to Colorado, first of all, they're in the tank. Second of all, the ownership has done nothing to earn that. Absolutely nothing.
Well,
to
here's my thing. I like the Rockies. I'd say they're not a favorite team of mine, but I have good memories thinking about the Rockies. Party like it's 2007. That 2007 postseason run was unforgettable. They've had a bunch of great players. Nolan Arenado before he left. Trevor Story still there now. Hey, Yankee fans, DJ LeMahieu.
DJ LeMahieu before he'll leave.
Oh.
I mean, the list goes on.
I'm saying there's some good stuff about Colorado, but I mean, when you're going to take, like going back to that decision, because we agree that it's all just a PR decision. As I say, was it the right thing to do? Because you're talking about the Atlanta businesses, you're talking about the voting rights of this law. But I would say we agreed that it was going to be done.
Can I point out something that's ironic though, which is Major League Baseball. When you get your tickets, what do you need to get your tickets if you're getting them at the game?
You meaning as of right now, in the climate we're in right now?
No, I'm talking. Well, either now or in general. What do you have to show to get your tickets if you're getting them at the pickup window of a stadium? That's vaccine
card.
No. Forget the vaccine
stub?
card.
Like a stub or something?
No,
what?
You need your ID.
Oh,
Major League Baseball is fighting over taking the game out of Atlanta due to the ID issues, but Major League Baseball, to pick up your ticket, you need identification.
I mean, yes, that does scream of irony, but the point I was going to go on was that one of the arguments, like the baseball argument of doing that, is Hank Aaron would be somebody who would fight for these rights. But
they
then
totally blew this one up.
But then, not Milwaukee.
But but then, if you're going to honor Hank Aaron and keep those Hank Aaron things, maybe, you can still do it in Colorado. But would it have meant more if either you had kept it in Atlanta, which would have been a whole other debate and a whole other stream issue, or in Milwaukee, like we said, Atlanta and Milwaukee are the two cities that are most connected to Hank Aaron.
See, and the one comment, and I see Anthony made it as well, is he said, not the first part of the comment, but the second part where he says there was an argument for the Texas Rangers because they're allowing 100%. First of all, and I'm going to make this bold statement right now, I would keep every freaking baseball event away from Texas because Governor Abbott has not a damn clue what's going on in the state of Texas. If it bit him in the ass.
Wasn't the 100%? I was going to say, wasn't the 100% for opening day, but I guess if they had the All-Star game, they would have put it there too.
It's not like the virus is going to stop. It's like, okay, I'm going to go back in hiding now.
Only need ID for will call, he says, by the way.
But it's the same thing. If you're going to pick up the tickets, you need identification. But Apparently, they're allowing 38,000 a night. I found out at the Rangers Stadium.
Where'd you read this?
In the report.
Yeah, I think they'd actually mention it like offhandedly, but still, do you really want to keep doing that? Especially considering we're not fully past. We're not full. This outbreak is not over. This pandemic has not been called time.
Well, it brings up an argument that we pointed out last week, saying that they didn't want to make a whole spectacle of the issue. When meanwhile, the All-Star Game they always promote as a spectacle.
It is the All-Star Game. What image comes to your mind when you hear those words?
I'm just answering his question. You think of a stadium full of fans seeing all the big names and all the big stars from around the league playing in under one roof?
Spectacle, and I don't mean glasses. I mean fireworks. I mean daring do. I mean everybody going crazy.
Celebrity.
Guys, WrestleMania is tonight. That is spectacle.
First of all, you don't try to out spectacle Vince McMahon. He can teach you. He can teach you a thing or two.
But Nick is right. It's all about celebrities showing up for the celebrity softball game, or it's the big names showing up to play the
home run derby.
Game.
The home run derby. Some people view as higher than the All-Star Game.
And first of all, everyone's like, "Oh my God, there's gonna be home runs all over the place." Well, people forget they detoned the baseball in Colorado.
Mind you, I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, people like home runs. I like home runs, don't you?
Chicks dig the long ball. Do I have to go back to that ridiculous thing? I mean, please.
It's true. They wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
I'm just tired of Rob Manfred and his stupid, dumbass decisions when it comes to running this league.
We are just in the terrible sports commissioner Olympics today, aren't we?
Yeah. You're talking about, let's face it, Rob Manfred is just ruining this game. I would say, as divisive as this argument of whether or not to move the game is, let's face it, he has just made so many people mad across the board. He's made his own players mad. He has made the union mad. He has upset different baseball cities like Atlanta in this example. He has upset, fans. Who hasn't he upset at this point?
In my opinion, and I'm going to finish on...
Wait, who?
The Pope.
I'm going to finish on this one statement. In my opinion, Rob Manfred needs to take a dirt nap and walk away from the league at this point.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that because...
I don't know if the phrase dirt nap works in this.
No.
He would... You mean stick his head in the stand like an ostrich?
No. Listen to me. He has basically written his own swan song at this point when it comes to running this league. He doesn't know how to do it. We thought when he took over for Bud Selig, and Bud Selig wasn't a terrible commissioner. He just had his issues.
Oh, it's just, a different flavor of terrible.
But Rob Manfred needs to wake the F up and decide to do things in the right way and not bring politics, which Major League Baseball has not dealt with in this way, shape, or form.
All right, comment from Anthony here. Colorado has a few things. 1, blue state. 2, second most attendance. 3, that's going to be a big home run derby.
Who cares if it's a blue state? What does that have to do with the sport?
If you take away, if you take away Denver, it's more purple than anything.
Well, I was going to say, okay, fair. But I was going to say the only political argument I had heard about Colorado was voter turnout. Like it has the top 2 or 3 voter turnout in the United States,
But what is that again? What does that have to do with the sports side of the All-Star Game? We're missing the point that the game is supposed to be for sport, not for politics.
Yes, but it's a bad look if you're holding a sporting event in a city that's majority African American, and now they can't.
But then what about the Milwaukee argument?
Right.
You can make that. What do you mean in terms of
the game?
Yeah, of the game. Then like I was gonna say, the political side, okay, so you move it from Atlanta, fine, but putting it in Colorado because of possibly a voter turnout thing, when you could have had it in Milwaukee, which we just said has better connection to Hank Aaron.
Yeah, they should have had it in Milwaukee. That's the problem. They'll put it in Colorado.
There's many places they could have had the game. But Rob Manfred, like typical Rob Manfred fashion, steps up and says, hey, you know what? I'm going to overrule everybody, and I'm going to make the decision myself.
And the problem, and again, the problem that you have with it is, like, you don't have, I was going to say, over the next few years, you already have 2 or 3 years of All-Star games, already decided. If you're going to say we're going to try to make it up to Milwaukee and you're going to try to make it up to Atlanta, because next year, 2022, we already said was Los Angeles, because they're still owed an All-Star game after the coronavirus canceled their plans for the 2020 All-Star game. And right now is a good time to have an All-Star game for them when their team just won the last freaking World Series.
Yeah, you would think it would be LA, but no!
2026, 250th birthday of the nation, so they're going to have it in Philadelphia. And as I said, 2023, I think ought to be right here in New York in the Bronx when you're talking about 100 years of the Yankee Stadium and the first Yankee World Series.
See, you keep saying that, but 2031, they're actually going to have it in Qatar. So,
oh, don't say that.
Wait a minute. I mean, like the NBA dealing with their China situation, we might have a situation with Major League Baseball where we should take it out of the country at this point.
Considering Rob Manfred, I wouldn't put it past him to hold it on the surface of Mars.
All I was going to say, is this like WWE's deal with Saudi Arabia or UFC with Abu Dhabi, Fight Island?
Why? Live from the Mojave Flats.
Wait a minute. We had games in Japan over, what was that, early 2000s?
Yeah, that was opening day, though.
Why don't we just put a team in Japan and just have everybody travel back and forth to Japan?
I have one, guys. Let's have a game in Antarctica.
Yeah!
You can fill the seats with penguins.
Imagine the baseball's freezing as mid-pitch. And the ball is frozen. It hasn't even reached the back.
Oh, shattered.
Well, wait a minute. Speaking of penguin, well, I think Rob Manfred's had his balls frozen for a very long time. But anyway.
That's right, Anthony. Politics are always tied to old sports. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Like I just said, I think Rob Manfred's balls have been frozen for a very long time by the Major League Baseball Players Association because they can't agree to negotiations. We're going to have lockouts for the next million seasons if we're not careful at this point.
That. I hope not.
It's going to happen.
One more comment here from Anthony. I missed the baseball classic. The amount of world teams increased to 30 plus.
You can't do that with COVID right now. Can't do it.
I know. I forgot about that. The World Baseball Classic should have been this year.
Well,
should have been, but this is the hellscape we find ourselves in.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
All right, moving on to another serious story, unfortunately. So we have updates on the Deshaun Watson case. So 2 women who have filed lawsuits against Deshaun Watson through Mr. Tony Busby have come forward, have revealed their names, and actually, in an update from yesterday, a Texas judge has decreed that it was something like 15 of the 24 women.
13 of the 22.
13 of 22.
With an update of 2 more. So you were right. 15 of 22.
Okay. 15 of 22 must refile and they must publicly use their name in the lawsuit.
You can do that? Now, I'm no lawyer, but I thought you had to keep.
I don't know the legal side of this. So
I thought you had to keep a woman's name in a sexual assault case completely sealed.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's because public figure is.
I really don't know if there's any lawyers who could chime in.
By the way,
free to do so.
I hate to do this again, but Tony Busby is on the prowl again.
Oh no! It's another edition of Nick Morgasen goes through Tony Busby's Instagram.
He's pissed. He's lit his sparklers and he's prancing through the street. What now?
So he wrote a large comment on Rusty Hardin. So I respect attorney Rusty Hardin. He's one of the best lawyers our great state has to offer. He's a true legend. He is a colleague, and I consider him a friend. I hope he agrees. But today he conceded that his client gets 2 to 3 massages a week. That equates to more than 150 massages yearly outside the vast Texans organization that has trainers and massage therapists, etc. Watson sought these women out, according to the admissions of Mr. Harden via social media, particularly Instagram. Most, if not all, these different women Watson reached out to by direct message. I think we can all agree that this is a bit strange.
So,
yes, I think we can. In terms of, well, you go ahead, Tom.
I do have the ESPN article that explains a little bit. So apparently, Busby and Harden had agreed in court that 9 of 12 women would publicly reveal their names by Wednesday, after Busby had said they would do so voluntarily. And there was a emergency motion requiring the release of 3 names. Harden is actually accusing Busby of using the women's anonymity to, quote, kill the reputation of our client.
Yeah, that came out yesterday. And I do think that's illegal. You can't just be anonymous and go up against somebody. That's not fair. You can't defend yourself
in
that way.
sexual assault cases, it's different. Because the laws there are different laws in order to protect people. And they're absolutely necessary. So don't come at me with that. So look, first of all, Mr. Combat Sports, maybe you can help me with this.
Oh no!
Does this back and forth remind you of something in the WWE? Because it seems like the two of them should be interviewed back and forth by Mean Gene Okerlund. Because it really seems to me like this is a pre-match thing.
I would say the way that this case is being handled by Busby and I guess Harden in a way, I mean Rusty Harden in a way, and just the circumstances of all that it's surrounding Deshaun Watson, it does kind of feel WWE-ish. I feel like
Rusty Harden's no better. Believe me.
No, he's absolutely not. I'm just saying. You know what this feels like? This feels like back in the days of the Monday Night War, when Eric Bischoff would keep challenging Vince McMahon to fight him on episodes of Nitro, and this is to the real world and this kind of in the legal world as to what a potential Vince McMahon versus Eric Bischoff match in a steel cage would have been.
I mean, going up there, if you're Rusty Harden, going up there and stopping short of calling every single one of these women liars and gold diggers without using the word really doesn't speak much to your moral turpitude, really, does it? Because that really, if you want to make yourself and your client by extension not look like a complete scumbag, you failed at it.
So we actually have Anthony chiming in because, of course, everybody, is going to give their armchair lawyer opinion.
Everyone thinks they're a lawyer.
No offense, Anthony. I'm just saying. So, from Anthony's knowledge, lawsuits must be under the person's name with a vague title to lawsuit to press, but all information must be fully known to the judge and to the defense. From what it sounds like, they are not informing the defense of any information of the ones coming forth.
Which is weird.
See, I have a problem here, which is, and part of the rest of the comment, Tony Busby says, I can tell you from my client's perspectives, these interactions were not consensual. No means no. Now, excuse me, I have a problem with him going into social media and basically.
Well, we said this for weeks that he needs to slow down, but it's clear he isn't going to slow down.
Yeah, no. I'm going to go one step further. Tony Busby needs to shut the F up. I'm tired of it.
Well, and let the victims speak for themselves because it's not about you; it's about them.
Yes, maybe? That's my point. That's my point. Hey, Tony Busby, shut the F up. I'm tired of hearing your garbage.
And again, the more he runs, again, we're not lawyers, nor do we play on the TV, but it seems like to me, the more he runs his mouth, you're talking on the criminal end of things, I don't think it's going to hold up. The fact that he's posting, the confidential letter from the NFL, the fact that he's posting lawsuit information before he even filed. No,
but Tony Busby is that snake lawyer, like I said in that quote from a couple of weeks ago. He's like the lawyer in the barbershop that can't afford his own rent. Okay,
Remember Michael Avenatti, guys?
Yes, that's what this is.
Remember Michael Avenatti, guys?
Yes.
You mean the one that tried to extort Nike for money?
Yeah. So righteous cause. Just you hired the wrong guy to go about it.
I'm tired of this. And in my opinion, they should disbar Tony Busby from being a lawyer.
I mean, first of all, you need to get this case over with because these women really do need to be heard. Because when 22 women tell you did something, odds are pretty good you did something.
Well, when you have a lawyer named Buzz who's actually trying to gain buzz from social media, that's a problem.
You have Nick the honey pun. I knew you were going to do it. Come on.
You have one guy. You have one legal representative named Buzz, and you have one legal representative named Harden.
I mean,
I don't need to say anything else.
I mean, he's basically Nick is just at the pun buffet right now.
So let's talk about another kind of serious news story here. Because we're talking about updates to stories. Update now on the Tiger Woods crash. Apparently, Tiger Woods, according to police and investigations, was going around 85 miles, like 40 miles or so over the speed limit in which he was.
I have one
traveling.
more report I heard that apparently they did talk to him after the crash.
He had no idea where he was.
No,
he was out of it.
He thought he was in Florida.
Yeah, he thought he was out of it.
You mean when they were pulling him from the wreck or afterwards in the hospital?
Pulling him from the wreck,
I think like directly when the crash happened, when they were trying to respond and they were trying to pull him out. He thought he was in Florida when he was in California.
But didn't the toxicology reports come back negative?
Okay, but how do you not know where you are?
He probably the impact.
He was in a traumatic wreck.
Nick, because he was the impact. But now my question is, but then my question is, why was he speeding? And unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to know.
And he's damn lucky that he wasn't killed or somebody else wasn't killed, God forbid.
Agreed.
Do you think that he should be put in the category now as the big name that probably should never drive themselves ever again?
Yeah, I would probably want to invest.
Agreed. Agreed. And,
I mean, he's worth how much money?
And unfortunately, this is probably going to end his golf career too. And again, it goes to my point of, in terms of golf on the green measures, he should have retired after the Masters win in 19. That should have been the perfect song for him.
What did I tell you about golfers? Golfers don't retire.
Golfers don't retire, but maybe they should.
I'll tell you, but you have to realize the storybook ending when you see one.
Go ask Phil Mickelson if he should have retired.
Yeah, but would Phil Mickelson tell you? Yeah, I think I should have hung it up.
Well, there was the rumor that he have like insider trading rumors against him. Also, like some.
I think I really don't know golf. We got to get a golf guy here.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about this weird, bizarre story from the world of the media. Well, the world of the NBA, but the world of media now. So Paul Pierce has been fired from his job at ESPN as an NBA analyst, retired player turned commentator.
Oh, why? He was just having some fun.
After posting a social media post in which he was in a strip club surrounded by, strippers.
Actually,
I don't know how else to put this.
Let me clarify one report I heard on that. I heard that was actually a mansion or a place that he might have been in.
Okay, so
let's see. Late comment from Anthony. Golf is one of the few sports you can play most of your life. And so, yeah.
Thank you. See,
should you though? But still, Mr. NBA, I've been waiting to hear your reaction on bated breath because I need somebody to help me make sense of this.
Nick needs closure. Nick needs closure.
I need closure. Can you give me closure?
Well, we've seen weird things Paul Pierce has done before, whether it's his playing career or whether it's for ESPN covering the games. Wasn't he the one who went off on a wheelchair because apparently he had a case of the shits and during an NBA final game?
Excuse me?
No, I'm not joking. That story actually came out. That
can't be real. That can't be.
But he's an awkward.
He's looking it up. I hope it was worth the 300 Instagram followers that tuned in.
Paul Pierce says wheelchair, game injury, bathroom break was just a joke.
Oh.
But he did go.
How would you joke about that?
No, but he actually did go back on a wheelchair to the locker room. That's actually true.
I know. No, that did happen, but he said it was all a joke that he had to use the bathroom.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's kind of offensive. That's kind of offensive. Speaking as a disabled American, it's not funny.
No, not that. I'm just saying that. Yeah, sure.
I'm saying that with not with you guys, with what he did, but still, that's neither here nor there.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say. I mean, if he needed to go, being in a wheelchair may not have been the best solution.
I mean, if you can't get there quickly on your own, I'm speaking from personal experience here, but. Of course, I don't. Of course, I should not be digging any this rabbit hole I find myself in any deeper. then I'm going to end up admitting to something embarrassing live on air. Thank you very much.
Well, ask Paul Pierce. He just did it himself.
But exactly. But I mean, why? First of all, what is the cardinal rule that I always say about social media?
Watch what you tweet.
Watch what you tweet. Watch what you broadcast.
Watch what you Instagram.
Watch what you put on the internet is the watchword that I like to use. Because honestly, I mean, I swear to God, you're what is he, 40-something?
Yeah, probably. Or close to it, if anything. But I would say about this whole situation.
You don't have to broadcast everything online. Come on.
Well, come on. These old guys are trying to be young again. You didn't know that?
Paul Pierce is 43, by the way.
But you don't do dumb things like that.
And wait a minute. Do you remember the comment I made during our pre-show meeting about how athletes do dumb things and it gets seen by millions of people? But the three of us who are working on this show very hard, we can't get any views like that.
Just ask Juju Smith-Schuster.
Exactly. Oh, and by the way, I don't think Paul Pierce's video ended up getting a lot of views.
It did.
It did?
It did. On the back, not live while it was happening. But
it got 2 million views.
I'm about to say most of that probably came from the back burner.
But who cares? As long as
okay, but congratulations! You threw away your post NBA career for views. Really,
it doesn't matter. He's made so much money that he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Okay, fair.
I think DJ Khaled said it best when he said, "Congratulations, you played yourself."
I'll give you one more example. Okay, look at A-Rod's career. Okay, with the amount of BS that he's pulled his career, you think he cares what people say about him anymore? He's so rich and he owns so many businesses. He doesn't care.
Put it to you this way: they had a paparazzi shot of him sitting on the toilet, taking a dump, and it didn't faze it.
You think he cares? He doesn't care. And same thing with Paul Pierce. And you can say this about any NBA athlete who likes to go to strip clubs, or if you're I can't remember the name of the guy who went to get chicken wings and walked outside the cold. Lou Williams.
Lou Williams, yes.
Yeah.
You think these athletes care what their reputation are?
Okay. But on that note, congratulations, Paul Pierce, on your new job at Barstool.
Yeah, well, that's not official yet. Let's be careful here. We don't want to get canceled.
Okay, I was saying it as a joke.
From your lips to God's ear, Albano.
But I'm just saying, we don't want to get canceled for trying to report things that don't exist yet. Because God forbid, telling jokes is not fun anymore.
Oh, wow. So apparently Paul Pierce, you're right. There is a rumor.
Oh my God. You're partially right.
Well, Dave Portnoy actually went on Twitter. Someone asked him about, would you hire Paul Pierce? And he said, in an instant. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? That's what Barstool is.
Look, the story. The story is Barstool has the lead in Paul Pierce war.
Thank you.
I don't know. I really don't know if you want to, leave ESPN, get out of that den of vipers and then go to the Lizard Club.
You want my opinion, though, and you're not going to like this opinion, actually, is I actually have been listening to more Barstool content than I have ESPN content.
And that's the sad state of affairs, isn't it?
Well, do you blame me, though? I feel like at least with Barstool, you get some laugh value out of it. With ESPN, you're just getting a bunch of political bullcrap.
I am not getting into that. I am so not getting into that.
All I watch ESPN for is Around the Horn, Pardon the Interruption, games and fights.
Right.
Oh, God.
All right.
Yes! Hallelujah!
Oh, hang on. It's funny how much people care about these posts. Yes. Okay, now go back to the celebration.
Woo!
I want to see something. Now let me take it off. Okay, now let me put it back on.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold is officially gone from the New York Jets. He has been traded to the Carolina Panthers. And when this story broke, I thought, okay, my very first instinct was, okay, they probably didn't get a lot for him and they waited too long. No, you actually managed to get a 6th rounder this year, a 2nd next year, and a 4th next year.
So, was I the only one who, when the news broke that he had been traded, was I the only one who flashed back to the last time we were all in the same room when the night he got drafted?
Oh my God, we were in the same room. Holy cow!
We were all at the campus radio station at Hofstra. We were all sitting.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It was after a class in my last semester.
It was after class. We were about to leave, and
Saquon we were already celebrating because Saquon had been drafted. You and I, Nick, were leaving, and then Sam Darnold ended up getting picked on the walk back, and then Nick started celebrating.
And I remember thinking to myself, "Wow, this really feels momentous." Fast forward about let's say 3 years and change.
Guys, you know how we have SOM, same old Mets. Well, this is a case of SOJ, same old Jets.
The fact that you were able to get anything for him is anything of a miracle. But let's
especially when they already have a quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater. Can I make the comment also
Teddy's
about this? So, what I want to say about this whole situation, they got more for Sam Darnold than Carson Wentz for the Eagles.
What does that say about Carson Wentz?
That just shows you how bad the leadership over in Philadelphia is.
To be honest with you, I mean, as much as we like to clown on Sam Darnold that he didn't live up to expectations, and he didn't. Let's be honest with ourselves. The Jets really didn't do him any favors, did they? I was shocked, but honestly, it's a win-win. Sam gets to go off to Carolina, has a new opportunity, being in a quarterback battle with Teddy, and the Jets. First of all, this locks them at number 2. This locks them at probably Zach Wilson, and it's a brand new start for them. This year maybe is a throwaway, but like next year, you guys I think have a first. Now you're gonna have at least 1 second. This is again, it's once again the Jets hitting the reset button. The only thing is, how can you appeal to a Jets fan when they have seen this same song and dance time and time again? You know what? You ask a Jet fan, and we happen to have one right here.
Well, you know what? I was ecstatic. I put out a little press conference too on our social media. I was so excited.
And you actually chanted the JETS Jets chant at the end.
J-E-S-T, Jets.
Wait, what was that saying that I spelled out with the acronym for Jets? I spelled something out in it, and I don't remember, but I think it was the typical joke that everyone makes with JETS, and I can't find it. But I was just like, hallelujah, we can move on from the quarterback that doesn't give a crap about being here anymore.
I mean, to answer what I said before, I mean, they did.
I was gonna say I thought I found the press conference that you posted, but no, it was the singing video that you posted.
But to be honest with you, I mean, to reiterate what I said before, I really do think that he didn't live up to expectations, but the Jets definitely didn't help him.
Yeah, well, now it's the Panthers' problem to figure out what to do with Sam Darnold. He found the video. Just enjoy the scenery. There we go. That's it. Just enjoy the scenery. Out the door, Sam Darnold. You're free man.
Yeah, Mr. Acronym over here.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say it's sad. You know how the state of affairs at the Jets is. It's sad when they throw him basically a "you escape the Jets" party down with his new team.
It's like a card you pick up in Monopoly.
They get out of jail free card.
Right.
Congratulations, you escaped the Jets. Move 6 paces.
I'll say, and from the New York football end of things, because we are based here in New York. You know what this ultimately leads to in terms of the Giants? I think now all the attention is basically on Danny. If you want my honest opinion, if as I say, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Danny because if three things happen, here's going to be my take on this in terms of the Giants. If three things happen, number one, Dave Gettleman gets fired. Well, actually, let me do it in the correct order. Number one, the Giants miss the playoffs again because if you hear the Mariners, they are somehow thinking we're going to make the playoffs again. So if they miss, Gettleman gets fired, and they elect to not re-sign Saquon, I can't see how you have Danny as the quarterback in 2022.
I don't even know what they're doing anymore.
I know
this season.
I'm just saying what the Jets are doing here. Giants fans, we might be looking into our future.
Oh, you mean you might be having to deal with the garbage disposal that is the ownership of the team?
Well, not just that, not just that, just in terms of trading our quarterback for.
Hey, at least your owner wasn't a representative for Donald Trump, for crying out loud.
Oh God,
fair point.
Fair point. Definitely.
Touché.
Fair point.
Okay, let's wrap things up with a few short little baseball stories here. So the Nationals' COVID cases have increased, as actually have the NHL's Vancouver Canucks, who are up. The Vancouver Canucks are up to 20 plus positive cases, and just an ugly scene over there. The Nationals' cases have increased, but somehow they are able to play again. I guess they finally got the farm system. I mean, the alternate training site, rather.
Taxi squad away!
Yeah.
Sure.
I really feel like you really dropped the ball here. Somebody dropped the ball. Somebody didn't do what they were supposed to.
All I'm going to say is there might be another Rob Manfred video in the near future. So just be aware of some anger that might be coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2020 edition of the Worst Commissioner Olympics.
We need to get maybe a dartboard.
I seriously need to come up with a point system for this.
You know what? I might put together a commissioner's video, and
God.
I'll come up with something. Just leave me to my own devices.
Well, I guess that's why we had the end of the year vote. For the end of the year vote this year, assuming that we're actually going to have a traditional end of year ceremonies, I think we need a worst commissioner award.
Probably.
Oh God.
All right. Potential problem of a story right now that's just kind of a nothing, but maybe could turn into something.
Oh God!
Baseballs used in a game, in a Dodgers game on Wednesday, were sent to Major League Baseball. These were baseballs used by Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer.
Really? Shocker.
I think Trevor Bauer had noted. Was it Trevor Bauer who had noted that
it was Trevor Bauer? It was during his start that they found.
He noticed that the balls were sticky and contained marks.
Wait, he noticed it, or Major League Baseball noticed it?
Major League Baseball, I think.
Okay, Major League Baseball, yeah.
Because if Trevor Bauer knew it and he still pitched with them,
okay.
Now, Bauer has been getting a lot of flack for this, but I will add, if you think that Trevor Bauer is the only person doing this, indeed, if this is going on, I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you.
Wait. I have one more point. Did you see the video of John Means versus the Yankees the other day?
Yeah, unfortunately.
That he actually was putting his hand and like rubbing the surface of his hand against the inside of his glove, and they thought he had pine tar in it.
Enough of the contact tracing of the group is quarantine.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You're talking about the Braves? I mean, the Nationals, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But what I would say,
the only point I was going to make about this baseball's story is, I mean, when you have MLB prior to the season, kind of when you have like the discovery that they actually, evidently were deadening the base, they were saying, like the ball might have been juiced last season. Now they're saying potentially the balls are deadening. When those reports are coming out, I mean, the reputation of pitching across the league in terms of just the league, Major League Baseball itself is damaged. So
this issue started with Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer and Jacob deGrom, and it was all about what? It was about spin rates. That's what we were talking about here. Enough with the science of spin rates. Just throw the damn baseball.
And you all wonder what I'd say between the story we talked about at the top, these two stories, you wonder why baseball's reputation's in the toilet that it is.
Oh God.
And speaking of, hang on, we have a comment here from Anthony. I called this. Bauer pointed it out this years ago, and then he said, "Screw it, I'm going to do it and get a big contract."
But that's not the exact reason for it. If he's cheating, he needs to be held responsible for
But
it.
again, Nick, when the problem is Major League Baseball, there are reports that Major League Baseball is on purposely, supposedly, allegedly doctoring the baseballs.
Okay, then Rob Manfred needs to be held accountable for it.
Again, this league's reputation is in the toilet. And speaking of, let's end with this story.
Oh, no.
So, a few days ago, the Mets actually won their home opener. How, do you ask? Well, it was a...
Wait, I'll tell you how they won.
Okay. They won in the most hilarious way possible because Michael, on a pitch that should have been a strike, Michael Conforto's elbow went into the strike zone, hit the elbow, and the umpire ruled hit by the pitch. The Mets win the game.
You're forgetting one part. He actually was ringing him up for a strikeout, and then went for the hit by pitch signal.
Oh yeah, it was like strike 3. Oh wait, you were hit by the pitch.
Oh wait, that hit you? Oh, sorry. Mind you, he didn't see anything. He probably wasn't even looking at his elbow.
First of all, aren't you supposed to go with the call that you meant to first? Like, isn't that what the rule is?
Umpires change their mind all the time.
Wait a minute. Speaking of changing calls, why don't we ask Angel Hernandez what he thinks about this also?
I once saw an NCAA game in 2016 that an umpire called a strike and then after arguing from a coach changed his mind to a ball. I don't think I could see anything worse.
I don't think Nick, you can top that. But
Nick, just say it now because I actually commented on a Facebook and I mentioned you actually, Nick, where I said, this is where we're looking for robot umpires.
We need robot umpires because a robot would not make that mistake.
Yeah, but robots are going to make
See, here's my thing about this. As somebody who is probably in his little league's record books for the most hit by pitches in a season when he was 8 years old.
That's not something to be proud of, by the way.
Why are you gloating about that?
I'm not. I'm just saying. If I was able to put my elbow out like Michael Conforto did, get hit by the pitch, not notice, and get the win for my team, you're damn right I'm going to be doing it.
Wait a minute.
Get away with that. Why not? Stop it with your head. Be like Diego Maradona and basically do a header.
There is no... This ending was the most appropriate ending for a Mets win.
By the way, Michael Conforto came out in the post-game press conference and literally said, I don't know what I did wrong. Gee, you don't know what you did wrong?
Because what the hell was he supposed to say? Oh, it didn't hit me. We lost. Okay, change it. Somebody change it.
Wait a minute. This goes back to a theory I said earlier, which was a pitcher throws at a batter on purpose. And then in the postgame press, did you throw at him? No. Why would I do that?
Guys, fellow Yankee fans here, just remember Derek Jeter once acted like he was hit and got away with it.
He
kind of did.
He kind of did the soccer. Oh God!
I'm surprised the umpire didn't pull out a red card.
Wait, or in the NBA where they fine you for flopping, but. What I was going to say, which, by the way, that's the most bogus thing because I haven't seen a fine.
I now want, now that you said that, you know what I want? I want an NBA game where one of those arenas where it's limited capacity. A soccer referee is in attendance in the crowd. LeBron is playing on a player. A player flops. LeBron gets called the foul. I want that soccer referee to run down into the court and give LeBron a yellow.
But let me say one thing about the whole Conforto situation. He knew what he was doing.
Oh, he knew.
Oh, and we'll get to that comment in a second. But what I want to say is Conforto is the dumbest athlete I've ever seen in my life if he passes it off that he didn't know what he was doing. And on top of that, I'm going to go one step further. I hope the Marlins retaliate and hit him in his next at bat when they play again.
The problem is, like you said, if Conforto admitted it, like, oh yeah, I completely, did that on purpose, everybody was going to be coming after him. He was screwed one way or another.
Okay,
He made the call.
Blame the umpire. The umpire is the problem here.
But wait a minute. I want to argue with this comment because I was reading it. So he said robot umpires actually have worse accuracy right now. A bounced ball. Yeah, that was from that viral video that happened. Also, Conforto via lots of sports analysts said that he was jelly-legged and his elbow. No, that's so.
No, his elbow was in the strike zone.
His elbow was in the strike zone.
The Mets broadcast team admitted it was in the zone.
If you heard Gary, Keith, and Ron, who were in the booth during the game, they said
they couldn't believe it.
They said that he should have been called out, and that's the rule. If you get hit by a pitch in the strike zone, you're called out.
I was gonna say, but the thing about robot umpires, I mean, you can argue the human element, but in terms of like wanting to get the call right, like you said, there's that viral video of a ball being bounced in and it's called a strike. We need to make sure baseball needs to make sure it has its, like you said, it's shit together, because you don't want to. With how bad baseball's reputation is, you don't want to throw the robot umpires in right away and something like that happens.
The one difference is when you don't have a catcher, they're measuring the trajectory of the ball. So in essence, because there's no catcher there, it looks like at times that the ball is hitting the ground. If you had a catcher, it would be different. That's the argument people are making.
Well, that's the thing. I also don't want, I would feel bad for all the catchers who will be losing their jobs at this point.
I don't know. It is what it is.
It's guys, it's just the most Mets way to win your opening day game.
They shouldn't have won the game. And you know what? In the long run, karma's going to come back to get them when they're one game out of the playoffs and they don't make it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But again, I laugh because if I was Conforto, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be
And Mets fans, including Anthony, who's watching right now, your team is not as good as people say it is.
I mean, we could also say the Yankees, but that's another ball game right there.
Wait, strike three is coming. But if I manage to get on base, I win the game. Dive right out in front of the plate.
It's like you're taking a bullet for the president. No!
Okay, that's the perfect way to end this show.
That's a wrap.
That is done. Finito. Cut.
Yeah.
Cut and print.
Okay, so Nick Morgasen and Nick Fodera on Tom Albano. Make sure to follow us at our socials. You can see them down there, and we'll see.
We might have an announcement in the next couple days or a week. We're doing some stuff. Just pay attention to our socials.
But until then, Nick Morgasen, Nick Fodera on Tom Albano. We'll see you next time on Empty the Bench. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.